it a little bit to get rolling. I got this new what you call it, sparkling water that is very delicious. This is the first time I'm trying it ever.
Mandarin orange.
Yes, it's called Clear American trademark.
Ah, made in America.
It kind of tastes like a melted orange popsicle.
I'm sure it's very good for you.
It is. It's 0 calorie. That's all I care. We should be live. Yep, there we go. Welcome in, everybody. Let's get things rolling. Hopefully, we get a few viewers coming in. I'm sure we will here in a second. I'm going to make a little post about people can put your questions in the chat. Anything you want to know about books and book selling, eBay, Amazon, whatnot, Etsy, Poshmark, Pango Books. We know it all, right?
Really? You're going to go there, huh?
Okay, we don't know too much about Pango, but we know it's,
We've
if you have your
heard. We've heard.
post your Pango questions in the chat, we'll try to answer them, right?
We've heard. All right. I think I'll be able to see the chat today. Yes, I can. We are live. What episode are we on?
Episode 28. Can you believe it? That's almost that's over half a year worth of episodes. 28 times 2 is about 50 something.
Not about. It's literally 56.
No, 50. Oh, okay. So we're over half a year.
We're over. We've
Wow.
done half a year of videos for the consuming used book public.
There you go. Midwest Book Guy in the chat. I think this is the first time Midwest Book Guy has ever been.
Why is he stalking me? Why is he stalking me? He was just in the whatnot. I think he was all over the place over the weekend. I mean, I think he called me with his wife in the car at one point.
Okay, she's gonna get jealous. Why are you always talking to this guy named Max in Florida? Let me see. I pinned my chat that everyone put your questions about books and book selling, online selling platforms, all that fun stuff.
Art Turner is here.
Art Turner says, Max, okay, this is controversial. We're getting controversial right off the bat.
Yeah.
Everyone check out Midwest Book Guy. Put Midwest Book Guy, all one word, in the chat. Check out his videos. Very cool. Seller out of Kansas. Okay, this is controversial. Art Turner says LaCroix is life. Do you have any opinion?
Why is that controversial?
Oh, LaCroix is nasty. I tried the coconut. I think there's a black cherry or plum or something like that one other time. It wasn't the most delicious stuff I've ever had in my life, I will say that.
And we apologize to all the people interested in book talk today. We're going to be talking about sparkling flavored water.
Put your sparkling water recommendations in the chat for us. We appreciate that. Hello, Tracy. Welcome. Oh, okay. So while the people filter in, I do have a quick topic for us. Just a quick rapid fire. What are some books, topics, publishers that people should look out for?
Ooh, great question.
Yep.
I mean, I love the publisher. I love the publisher talk.
Okay.
Abrams, Rizzoli, Prestel. I love talking the art books, but also university presses are always good.
Yeah, a lot of those are very rare. A lot of university stuff is pretty rare
because it's small print runs. It's very small print runs.
Now, the really niche topic stuff, like you said, don't just look for ornithology books. Look for parrots of South America in the 17th century. The more niche, now those are usually very rare, and you can ask a premium for it, though it's gonna take a while to find the buyer. But when they find that book that they absolutely can't live without, they will pay up for it. But it's gonna take longer to sell. And then obviously modern leather books, Easton and Franklin. Easton Press.
Always. Matter of fact, I thought maybe we should do a Paper Gold show where we talk about Easton's and Franklin's International Collectors Society, and then the full leather bound Franklin's, then those there's so many variants.
Yeah.
I think we should do a little episode on that for the Paper Golders.
And I will say, when I first got started, I didn't know the difference between the real leather Franklin libraries and then like the knockoff cheap ones that kind of look a little leathery, but they're not. And I was fooled quite a bit of times buying Franklin lots just to find out that they're the cheap ones and I overpaid.
Yeah, they were the hardbound, but not leather.
Yep. Um, one of the things I was thinking is illustrated books. Me and you also wanted to make a special video talking about illustrators. What do you think the best illustrators to look out for?
I would say anybody from the Wyeth family.
Okay. Yep.
I
NC Wyeth
yeah.
and
Arthur Rackham, of course. I just sold an Arthur Rackham book.
yep.
Um,
Gustave Doré for sure.
oh yeah, but I, do you classify Doré as a children's illustrator?
Oh no, I just said
Yeah.
illustrators.
Oh yeah, yeah.
General
Gustave
illustrators.
Doré,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyone from the George Cruikshank family, George and Isaac Cruikshank,
Yep. Yep.
Cruik Shank.
Yep. He has illustrated a lot of Dickens and especially stuff over in England, kind of mid 19th century was where when he did a lot of work. I think.
And then another artist I saw today, John Vassos from the
Okay.
Art Deco period.
Yep.
Vassos is very popular, and I tend to really like Vassos' work in books. He did a lot of Oscar Wilde.
Yep. Another huge one, Aubrey Beardsley, I think was
Yeah.
is hugely collectible if you can find anything.
We should be writing this down.
Yeah, we should. But I think at some point we're gonna do a special video about illustrators and which ones to look out for. And I know we're probably missing some great ones. Oh, Art Turner says vintage health and athletic books. Yep, that stuff. And actually magazines, health and exercise magazines from just about any era, whether they're from the 1890s, 1920s, 1970s, and 80s. People just want health and fitness stuff from every era. You can sell men's health and fitness or women's health or whatever weird fitness exercise, especially the strength and bodybuilding ones, I think are very popular.
Especially from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and especially the ones with Schwarzenegger on the cover.
Yep. Art Turner says pamplemousse. What is that?
I'm looking. I see Arkham House is all I see. Oh, pamplemousse. I don't know. I think you were trying to say something else.
I have no idea what that is.
You were trying to say pamphlets.
Okay. Yep.
Or maybe that's another name of a water company.
Okay, that's a seltzer one.
Pamplemousse.
He does think he also says smaller booklets and ephemera are becoming more popular. Yep, people will pay $50 or $100 for a little postcard or a little weird pamphlet, just because those pamphlets, 99% of them got thrown away because they were never seen as valuable, whereas books are usually seen as valuable. People have just thrown ephemera away. One of the other great topics to look out for, I would say, are some of the holidays. The hottest two are probably Christmas and Halloween, but then also Thanksgiving and Easter and Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. All of those are unbelievably collectible.
Yeah, I was just looking for the name of a certain writer who, turn of the century, wrote a lot of health and physical well-being books. I don't remember his name right now. I'm trying to find.
Oh, shoot. Yep. Darn. He has a fitness encyclopedia. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. He wrote a lot of them.
Bernard something.
Yes, Bernard. Yes, that is. Yep, Bernard. Let me type in Bernard. There it is. It's not Bernard. It's Bernard with two R's at the end. Bernard.
Okay,
Bernard McFadden.
Yep, absolutely.
That would be considered a Bolo author. Anything Bernard McFadden would be a Bolo author.
Yep, I have a few of his books. I don't think they're on eBay right now, but I have a few.
You just have them You read them right before you do your workout every day.
I'm trying to learn how to get into shape. Actually, it's really cool to see, like, starting in the 1890s, they're teaching you workouts and how to stretch and all that stuff. I mean, similar to, doing planks and stuff that we recognize today, they were doing in the 1890s for core strength.
And they were much healthier than we are today.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Their nutritional stuff probably was way off.
Yeah.
They want you to have 10 servings of grains, one of meat. Who knows what else?
Although early on with the Atkins diet, I think he was going in the 70s, what we would consider carnivore diet now. The Atkins was around in the 70s, so that that highly rich protein diet was, has been going on for 50 years now.
Yep. And I think the Mediterranean, what was that? That was fish and seafood and maybe some veggies. I don't
Yeah.
know. All right. Junkman says 1980s Thigh Master Encyclopedia. I've never seen that one or sold that one, but I'm sure the retro stuff, probably mostly because of the crazy outfits.
Yeah, that was first when the spandex started to be worn. Jane Fonda's workouts.
Yep. Yep. Data Productions Media says grapefruit flavor for LaCroix. Okay, I promise I'll give that one a try and give you my honest opinion of it. Junkman says Afro Americana and tobacco stuff. Yep, absolutely anything with tobacco, and then the Black Americana stuff. Though I will say with the Black Americana stuff, eBay sometimes doesn't allow it and it'll take it down, especially if there's any offensive depictions. So you have to be careful with that. But it is unbelievably collectible. Civil rights era stuff as well, I think. And then onto that with the 1960s and 70s, you got the psychedelics and the drugs, all kinds of hippie stuff. That's really collectible and saleable as well.
Especially the comics from the Haight-Ashbury period. Especially comics, those underground comics. From Robert Crumb being one of the premier illustrators of that time.
Yep. Art Turner says tobacco genre is a sleeper. And yeah, I suppose probably alcohol stuff from the Prohibition era as well.
I think what we're really trying to say is books still sell.
Yep.
They still sell every day.
Yeah. Everything except Harlequin romances. I would stay away from those.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's some people out there. I think we have a Paper Gold member who sells them. Johnny B is a big seller of Harlequin and Western paperbacks.
Yeah. Yep. I've sold some Westerns, especially if you can get them from the pulp era, kind of the 1940s, 1950s. But I don't know. I would probably stay away from anything maybe 1970s, 80s, 90s, and later, maybe even 1960s. I think I would probably stay away from.
Yeah, but definitely the older, the better on that. And then, more of the Gothic as well, more of the Gothic.
Yep. And another one is horror. Horror is probably one of the hottest selling. And then sci-fi is kind of wishy-washy. They're looking for certain authors and certain cover artists. But horror and sci-fi are another huge seller to look out for. Art Turner has a question. How would you go about listing a book on eBay that is on the borderline of being restricted? Good question. Anything with a swastika or an offensive depiction of any kind of race. Actually, right now I have a item that definitely could. It's kind of conspiratorial about the Jews in the night. It's from the late 1900s. That one could get taken down if it gets reported, but there's plenty that are listed and plenty that are sold. So I guess I just have to hope for the best.
Right. But with eBay's new AI, I mean that stuff is probably getting my guess is most of it's going to start getting suspended as the AI technology continues to grow.
And actually, Whatnot, when you're listing anything on Whatnot, if there's anything that looks like a bare-chested woman, even if it's not, or a butt crack or a swastika, the AI picks it up and says, "Nope, you can't list this." Like
you're getting racy today, Kat.
Sorry, we're talking about all the offensive stuff. God. It is shocking when I find like nude art books on eBay that don't even have post-its, and I know eBay will allow nude art and art books, but it could run foul of their listings if it gets reported. And I would suggest putting post-it notes over it. And
it's tough to get those pictures up. Sometimes eBay calls you out on, a statue of David, and of course, nude, and then AI is calling you out on that.
Yeah, you sell a lot of art books, and there's definitely some erotica in those, and you have to be careful.
Yeah. I put post-it notes on pictures if I have to, even on the cover. I'll do that.
Well, I know a guy that was selling sleazy paperbacks and using post-it notes, and eBay still took him down. They must have manually um checked his account.
Yeah, shut them all down. You're
Yeah.
done. You're done.
He was doing auctions. I suggested you do auctions and they're doing really well. He was getting $20 to $100 a piece for them.
Mhm.
And eBay took tons of them down and then retroactively gave him strikes for ones he already sold weeks ago. He had like 140
Ooh.
violations on his account, but they didn't. I think they kind of were like, okay, well, now we're giving you these warnings. Don't do it again. But 141 violations is wild.
How do you even climb out of the hole of that?
Well, I think after several months of behaving yourself, eBay is like, okay, you're good now, but don't mess around with us. Junkman says steal this book. Not aware of that one.
Yeah, that's Abby Hoffman, the 60s radical.
Is that one of the what's the cookbook? The radical.
The anarchist cookbook.
Yep, that one is. I wonder if that's still allowed on eBay.
No, that's not allowed on eBay. I would be shocked if that's allowed on eBay.
I bet there's people that sneak it through.
Yeah,
Maybe
I do, but I'm sure it's banned. But no,
Yeah.
Abby Hoffman. The name of the book was called "Steal This Book."
Oh, okay, gotcha. He says we are everywhere. Jerry Rubin, counterculture. R. Turner says books from Iran are restricted on eBay, but I've sold two before, having to take them down, having to take down the other listings. Okay, interesting. Iranian books are.
And you were just singing a Beach Boys song that had an
Yeah,
Iranian tied to it. You want to play that for everybody?
I'm not going to sing it. No, you know more about it. You corrected me on the lyrics. What is it, Barbara Ann?
The name of the song is Barbara Ann, but during the late 70s with the hostage crisis in Iran, someone made a gag song called Bomb Iran, pro-Americana, pro-patriot sort of
Hmm.
song. And I remember as a child going to a carnival of some sort, and they had a car, and over the speakers, they were playing the Bomb Iran song. And you would get 4 swings at the Iranian car for $1, and you can, hit any part of the car you want for $1.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. R. Turner says if the book is in a different language, I don't believe the AI is smart enough yet to flag it unless you put keywords in the description. And that's one of the tricky things if you're selling something from World War II that's German.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense to put Adolf Hitler and Nazi and stuff in the title, but then that's kind of asking for trouble. Even if it's like a book from 1980 on the history of the rise of Hitler or something,
Right.
you still want to be careful. I mean, people are searching these terms, so it makes sense to put them in your title.
Right.
But I don't know.
Here's a better question for people out there. We have about 9 people here.
Got 11.
Why is it disallowed on eBay, but Whatnot allows it, and even Amazon allows certain books that are restricted on eBay?
I would bet all of these platforms have an offensive material policy that anything that could be construed as offensive could be taken down. And I'm sure Whatnot has an offensive material policy that if you get reported, they're going to review it manually and decide whether or not it's offensive. But that's the problem is like who's determining what's offensive, and you just have to rely on this person in customer service to, I guess, decide.
You have to be gracious about a team of people meeting to decide.
Yeah, I think you'll say me. I find lots of things offensive that the average person might not. um, oh, here's a good question for you, Max. Junkman wants to know, do you have any new consignments that you're stoked for selling?
Ooh, that's a great question.
You could talk about this for half an hour.
That's a great question.
Yep.
A few. Number one, I just had 2.5 pallets come in from Connecticut, all from a library that was closing down in Connecticut. And just a few highlights in that collection.
Was it a public library or university
University, Catholic? I believe it was a Catholic university.
Yeah.
And some of the highlights in this collection are National Geographics with the maps going back to the early 1900s in leather bound.
What's the earliest one you found of
I think
those?
I saw today. I think I saw in 1907 today.
Okay, so you're gonna have all the World War One stuff.
With maps though, they still had the maps in them, so nobody ever checked these out. It's amazing.
Mhm.
And also books from the collection, a very great collection of midwifery magazine hardbound. I think someone's going to jump on the midwifery books. I think that's a very popular topic right now.
Yeah, for
Then
sure.
I have another great collection coming in from Kentucky this Friday, from one of our paper golders, and some of the highlights in here will be a phenomenal magazine collection going back to the 40s, I believe, of boxing magazines,
Wow.
KO, Fight magazine. But what really stood out to me in these magazines is none of them had the labels for being sent in the mail. So they were all clean of the paper label at the bottom of some magazine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this person was buying them either from a newsstand or a bookshop back in the day, and it's boxing magazines, military and aviation magazines, and what I'm really excited about is this gentleman had a midget car collection of magazines and books. So
Oh,
midget
okay.
midget cars. So as you always know about me, I love niche subjects, and it's not auto racing, it's midget car racing. So
Lit,
that's better.
little people cars or dwarf cars. I don't think we use that
No, I don't,
anymore.
no, I don't want to go there.
I'm
That's
just kidding. I'm
outdated.
just kidding. They're midget cars. I
Um,
oh, two new topics
but
that
yeah,
are
but let me say this real quick about these collections. I never want to see everything. I always tell my consigners, I don't want to know everything. You know what I like, so just tell me a little bit about what you have, and then when I open up a box, I want to be surprised.
Mhm. Well, that actually ties in. I'll just add quick that two other things to look out for: medical items and sports things.
Ooh.
Sports, medical, I don't know. Medical, there's probably an era that you want to stay away from, like 60s, 70s, 80s. It's not old enough to be interesting and new enough to be interesting, but
Mm.
sports stuff people want from every era.
Oh
Uh,
gosh, yes. Oh
the
gosh.
earlier the better, but definitely, absolutely any era of sports type magazines are
Yeah.
saleable.
That's a market that's on fire. Matter of fact, I just had a collection from a sports writer, and matter of fact, Data Productions Media, Art Turner bought a lot of them, and he's still
Mm.
selling them. He's still selling them every day.
Yeah, a
Uh,
lot of like college and professional sports
oh yeah,
brochures.
media guides and all of that stuff. And not from the big schools, not like Michigan. I mean, some schools like New Mexico State University, Alcorn State, and Art is doing a great job at moving that product.
Yep, yep. And again, that's one that I think just about any era is good for sports stuff. Uh, Tying into your new consignments, Junkman wants to know if you screened the pallets incoming.
Yeah, like I just said, I mean I do FaceTimes. I do FaceTimes with prospective and regular consigners, so I have an idea of what they have. But I never want to see everything. I like to be surprised. Um,
Hmm.
and part of that surprise is also building the trust with the consigner that they can feel free and develop their learning and their eye of getting good stuff. So when I open up a box and I see something that I didn't know before that's a great book, then it's always a great phone call when I call them and say, "Oh, this is phenomenal, great eye." So yeah, it's
Yeah,
very, very
once you have worked with consigners for a while, me and Max occasionally will consign stuff back and forth, and I just tell him, "Hey, I have a couple boxes of this. Is that all right if I send it to you?" He says, "Yep," and then he at this point just sets books aside for me that he knows I'll want to sell and sends them to me. I'm not usually not checking and saying yes to no to every book. I trust him at this point, and I think once you get comfortable with a consigner, you can definitely they'll trust you to just mail you stuff and then use your best judgment. Throw away if there's some junk, throw it away and sell what you can.
Right. And for those people that are interested, I think the consignment business is a great way to always keep yourself in great inventory. So don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, I never really did any consignment until Max. I joined the Paper Gold group. Do you have your yellow sheet handy?
Hmm.
We'll show all your links here. Common Ground Finds on Whatnot and eBay. Common Ground Finds _ on Instagram. Paper Gold Podcast on YouTube. You definitely want to check out his YouTube, and then also the Paper Gold group I just mentioned on Patreon. An ongoing book hunters conversation. Great group to join if you're want to learn more about books and selling books. We have quite a few people that sell mainly on eBay and Amazon, a little bit of both, and then they're all dabbling in Etsy and Poshmark and
Whatnot.
Yeah.
And Pango books, not that, and
I think we've had a couple people sign up for Pango and give that a try. Here we go. STL. Oh, shoot. We missed the best one. STL Bookkeeper in the chat. Magazines are always amazing sells. Dirty magazines. I don't think we brought that up as something to look out for.
Why is it dirty, Kent? Why is it dirty?
Dirty, sleazy.
No.
Max calls them erotica. Yes. STL Bookkeeper calls them spicy mags. But
he makes a living doing this.
He drives around he'll drive halfway around the country for a truckload of them, and it'll keep him busy for weeks selling a truckload of magazines. Yeah. And I will say eBay used to allow all that stuff. Now I think they allow Playboy, and that might be just about it as far as dirty magazines that they allow. So you're going to have to find I think there probably are special websites you can sell it on. I've never heard. Okay, Max knows. But just, I'm sure if you Google.
Wardell knows. I told Wardell knows.
Okay. Has he, I wonder if he's tried.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him about that. I know, I'm sure he tried. I don't know how deep his involvement is now, just because Whatnot is such a quicker sell.
Yeah, it's not worth listing by it now when you can auction them off. And he even auctions off the good, highly sought after, expensive Playboys, and they don't bring $3. They bring 50 or 100, or I think he sold one for like 140.
He sold one for 1,000.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Issue number 1.
Oh,
with Marilyn. With Marilyn.
Oh, she was issue number 1. Okay. I had a person bring in a couple bound Playboy first year, maybe 2 books. And he kind of just wanted to know what I would pay and what they're, well, no, he didn't. He wanted to know what they were worth. He was going to try to sell himself. So he just wanted an appraisal. But yeah, I definitely would like to buy those. Okay, we got to say hi to a couple people. Viverica and Grayson are in the chat. Hello.
Love them. Love their support.
Yep. Grayson has a question or a statement. He said, I did his first long drive to pick up 4 hours each way, accidentally left behind 2 items. Now I'm paranoid until they ship them to him later. Was that I wonder, Grayson's usually buying some pretty cool stuff on like Live Auctioneer and like some of the high-end auction sites. Was that an online auction somewhere, Grayson?
Yeah, for him to drive 4 hours away, those are good books.
Yep. Yeah. Wardell says there was
you know what?
What?
Sorry, I just remembered. Wasn't Grayson looking for somebody in Wisconsin to help him? This may be that deal.
It could be. Yeah.
I believe it was not Wisconsin.
No, that was Wardell that was looking for someone in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Okay. Grayson was looking for someone, I forget where.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. Wardell says there was only 53,000 copies of the Maryland Playboy printed. And actually that one, I think STL Bookkeeper, you should definitely check him out on Whatnots. I don't know what his eBay is, but his Whatnot is STL Bookkeeper. And again, if you're looking for great spicy magazines, and he actually has got to the point where he knows the rare issues, and in some cases, if they're valuable and in really nice condition, you can get them graded. I've never heard of grading magazines, but I think is there only one company in the country that grades?
No, but why would you want to grade something and put it in a plastic slab that has a fold out?
Well, but would you want to read and open up a $1,000 magazine? You could still, I think ideally you would grade it and get it in whatever kind of case it comes in when it's graded, and then frame it nicely, I suppose.
Yeah, but you're missing out the beauty of what's inside.
I know, but the front cover, the people just want the front cover. They're not. If they are handling it, they're most people are probably just putting it in a plastic sleeve and leaving it there. All right, Grayson says $1,000 on 2 items from an online auction. It was in St. Louis. It was the least organized system he's ever seen. Not to blame them for it, but lesson learned to triple check you have everything. Darn, that sucks driving 4 hours to pick some stuff up. Baverka says that she once sold a Mein Kampf on eBay and the buyer left me feedback. Excellent product. Okay. Good. That's an interesting feedback. I think if I bought a copy on eBay, I maybe wouldn't leave feedback for that one. That's another that I will say you have to be careful with because eBay, I've tried auctioning off copies maybe last year, and I think eBay took it down probably because it got reported. Even though there's dozens of copies listed and dozens of copies that sold, they for sure will let you, they will usually let you sell the annotated editions, but they probably not any of the other ones. They want all of the notes and criticisms, I guess. They don't want the original copies, especially the German ones, are too dangerous to sell, according to eBay. So we'll just leave it at that.
I'm sorry, I was just printing out a label.
Okay.
Plenty of to come by, so I gotta be ready.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a great Whatnot show today. We've both been, I mean, the book market on Whatnot seems to be unlimited as far as new customers. And then like you at this point, you've had people that have been buying on Whatnot consistently multiple times a month for
well over
like,
well over.
And me, I would say I have people that buy absolutely every show, and then every show you're getting new buyers as well. So it is pretty cool to see.
What you and I always talk about is, are we underestimating the power of the population of book buyers on Whatnot? And we keep saying we are.
Well, it is amazing how many people come and spend $200 at your show, and then they spend $200 on my show week after week after week. It is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a little stupefying, to be honest. I just think that the channel, the platform is growing by the day quicker than we can even wrap our head around. And
it is
one more year.
It is, but I think if you ask the average person on the street, they've all heard of eBay and Amazon and probably have bought something for sure on Amazon, a little less on eBay. But the average person probably still has no idea what Whatnot is. So, but I will say I am sending a little piece of paper with every single eBay sale that says, "Hey, check me out on Whatnot." And several of them have. I highly suggest people do that. Cross promote. And you know what? On my Whatnot shows, I say, "Hey, go check out my eBay." And that has brought people. So I'm trying to get people all buying everywhere.
Do you think that eBay looks down upon that?
Oh, eBay would never let you send a message saying, "Hey, check me out on this other platform." I don't think even if it was Facebook or YouTube and say, "Hey, check out my YouTube channel," I don't think eBay would like that.
But what if you had a business card that said thank you? Someone buys a book and it's a thank you card, and please leave feedback. But on that card, it also said something to the effect of, please check me out on whatnot.com.
Yeah. Yep. My next business
card, or would they look down upon that?
I think my next business card will say, check me out on these sites I'm selling. And then I have 5 billion social media sites too. So
I'm gonna make a controversial statement right here.
Okay.
eBay should worry less about sellers cross promoting, and all eBay needs to ever worry about is making their site the greatest, so you don't have to cross promote.
Yeah, that's true. But
I'm gonna mic drop on that one.
But if I could send a message to every one of my eBay buyers for the last 3 months saying, "Hey, check me out on Whatnot," my eBay sales would probably drop dramatically because people are coming to buy on Whatnot. It's just a weird, different experience where you get to know your customers. Joy from eBay's been buying from me for a while. Now she's over on Whatnot, and you get to learn more about these people, and they get to hear your voice, and possibly, I'm not on camera, but other sellers, they get to see the person. It's just so much more personal. You're buying from a human, not just Common Ground Finds an animal at 52. All right, we got lots of questions. You want to read some of these?
Look, Barnmo is here. Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Let me see if I can catch up here.
Yeah.
Go to Grayson. I gave them my business card that I got. So there you go, Max. I think he heard me the other couple weeks ago getting mad at non-business carders.
Yep.
Not sure if they'll use mine now that I left a bunch of stuff behind, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know, but that's why you do it because you never know.
Yeah. I think we got the two above that too. You got to read
Oh, okay.
Bavarian Data.
Viverka. Woo, Viverka. I just had a library in Europe buy a few books for me for 2,000.
Wow.
Why is Viverka not in paper gold so we can see this stuff?
It's probably the books that I sold to Bavarica a few months ago, probably. I
She should
hope so.
she should be in paper gold.
Yeah. What about you got Art Turner's comment above that too?
Media, there are people with nearly 1 million followers. Yes, yes, there are people with 1 million. But I would say to Art Turner, as I say to you, Ken, all the time, what's going to happen when Whatnot figures out the global shipping program like eBay? Everyone's going to have 1 million followers.
Well, I told you 2 shows ago I sold a book to Singapore. I think I've sold one to Canada before.
Yep.
And actually, it's probably better people bidding on my Whatnot auctions because I do actual weight, whereas on eBay, I upcharge a couple pounds. So a couple extra pounds international package is like $20 more expensive. So I think people do have the opportunity to buy international and ship international on Whatnot.
It's definitely captured people's attention. If you remember, Reezy Resells contacted me. Came
Mhm.
in. Was he in my show yesterday? Was it Sunday?
Yep, I think. Or no, it was Saturday's Raid
The
Train show.
paper gold raid train. Yeah, Reezy came in and he's been asking a lot of questions about Whatnot. So I'm guessing that Mike Reezy Resells will be venturing into Whatnot himself as well.
Yep, awesome.
All right,
Uh,
Bill Barnmo, I was in a community retail forum with business owners, and of the 50 to 60 people, no one there had heard of Whatnot. I was shocked. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not I'm not shocked yet.
no, it's probably gaining traction in the clothing and comic book and Funko Pop.
Yeah, collectibles like that. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Um, yeah,
But I give it one more year. It's going to be part of the language of, the American language and conversation is people are going to talk about Whatnot the same they do as Amazon and eBay.
and you know what? All the chatter in the online reselling world, people, whatever the heck, general resellers and clothing resellers and everything, they're all talking about it. They're all giving it a try. And like clothing resellers are making unbelievably more profit than they were doing buy it now listings on eBay. They're making more money. Their turnover is absolutely constant to the point where they need to be paying people to source for them. And again, they're selling maybe 300 or 400 items a day and making maybe a little bit less profit, but they're selling 300 items that you could never dream of selling that much on eBay. Never ever dream of selling that much.
It's
So,
yeah, it really is insane. It really is.
Junkman says Whatnot is to reselling like Betamax is to media, just making up analogies. Yep,
Mm,
I think right now Whatnot is probably only 2, 3, 4% of eBay's market. The size as far as their sale in the last year, but I think it's only going to tick up. And eBay, um, I don't know how many people are overly excited about eBay because they're making so much money and having so many sales. I think the general sentiment of eBay reselling right now is that people are struggling, their sales are down. They want to try to figure out how to save their businesses.
a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but people are leaving eBay for Whatnot and other marketplaces.
Mhm. Junkman says it isn't easy being Reezy. True story. Yeah, he's a big name in the reselling world, and him and Max are texting like best friends now. Anthony Thomas Experience. That's a new name. Anthony Thomas Experience. Welcome to Pick Our Brains. This show's every Monday at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, 1 or 2 p.m. Hawaiian. I have a Hawaiian customer that calls me every now and again. It'll be like 2 in the afternoon. It's like 8 a.m. for her. So that's kind of cool.
And
And
I'm curious about Anthony Thomas' experience when he's talking to people about whatnot. Um, I'd like to know what he's saying because it's interesting if you say, "Oh, I sell books," and then you talk about whatnot. People like. So I wonder how he introduces the conversation.
mhm. I'm going to read his comment quick. Anthony Thomas experience says, I talk to a lot of people. They have never heard of whatnot. They usually say, what is a whatnot? Yeah. It's still unbelievably tiny compared to eBay, but for sure it's gonna overtake Etsy and Poshmark and all those other reselling websites.
I feel a commercial coming on. What is a whatnot? What's a whatnot? What's a whatnot? Whatnot.com.
There's definitely a shift of eBay sellers to whatnot. I don't know if there's much of a shift from Amazon sellers, but there's definitely that possibility as well. Book Barn Mo says I'm going to schedule a whatnot show filled with mainly old golden books and vintage kids readers like Dick and Jane. In your experience, do these do well on whatnot? Yep,
Yeah.
I definitely sell some antique kids books every show. Max has sold tons and tons of Dr. Seuss and little golden books. You sell little golden books every time you do a show at Faith Farm.
I mean, they just put them aside for me in stacks of 10, along with the Dr. Seuss, along with the Babysitters Club. I mean, I could literally do a 5-hour show from Faith Farm and just focus on kids' books.
Yep. What would your suggestion if he's going to do kids' books? Some of the Dick and Jane, I think you could do one at a time. Post some good pictures. Um, golden books, would you maybe do 3 or 4 or 5 at a time? Or Max does 10 or 20 at a
10.
time.
Yeah, I like 10 and 20. I mean,
Yeah.
see, I like I just love people getting value.
Yeah.
It's hard to give people value on eBay. You have to stay competitive with your prices. But because the velocity of whatnot is just selling, 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 I just want people to feel great value. And you're going to get more bidders, and you get more bidders, you make up your money on that. But if you're going to compete against me and you're going to do 3, I'm going to do 20.
And similar to eBay, you probably wouldn't waste your time doing eBay listings, buy it nows or auctions, doing less than 10, unless they're like, I think the 25-cent ones are the really early ones.
Mhm.
Those maybe, or if you have, here's a little tip: check inside the rear cover. If it's a 25 center, check in the rear cover, and you're looking for A's are the first printer printing. You got to look inside the hinge and kind of peel it back, and A's are the first printing on those. So if you have one of those, a first printing of a good title, or there's like 10 different titles that are hottest sellers. The Little Black Sambo, shoot, what's the one with the the baby that goes missing? It's a movie from the 90s. Baby's Day Out. Baby's Day Out. That's
And
another heavy hitter.
Also the band Seuss books, the 6 band Seuss books.
Yep, for sure. All right. Uh so oh gosh, we gotta catch up. We got 16 people watching. We got a huge crowd today, Max. Uh Junkman says that his AARP ant is selling on Etsy. These platforms will spread like Facebook did. Etsy has been around for quite a few years at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think maybe 5, 6, 8 years. I don't know. I don't know if Etsy is growing, but I don't know. It's definitely not exploding like whatnot.
Well, and I'm gonna throw a little teaser out there for everybody.
Hmm.
I am going to reveal in 2 weeks another platform to sell books on that it's going to be shocking to people.
Have I heard of it?
Mic drop.
Okay, join Paper Gold if you want this exclusive. Is it something I've heard of?
Of course, yes.
Hmm, interesting.
You know what it is. I've been
I
telling
yeah.
you about it for weeks.
Yeah, but I have no idea which one you're talking about in this conversation. I will say lots of people in the Paper Gold group, they use shoot, what's the cross posting platform? Vendoo, I think, to cross post. You can take all of your eBay listings and cross post them to Etsy and Abe Books and all those other sites. So quite a few people have been cross posting onto Etsy and having some good success. Um, and again, Vendoo, I think you can get the program for like $10. And it is a little bit time consuming to move your listings over. I tried it and gave it a try. Art Turner He's Data Media Production in the chat. He says Etsy is picking up. No sales yet, but he's getting views. Should get my first sale too. He said he's excited for that outlet. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do general vintage. Going to do vintage art books and catalogs to niche down and have a vibe. Yep, that's a great idea to niche down on Etsy. And whether you're doing vintage kids books or art books or gardening books, I think you could definitely build more of a community setting over there where people get to know a little bit about you and become regular customers.
And just be specific on that category or that subject matter of books. That's a great way. That's a great way to have a niche store online.
Yep. Grayson says that he set up an Abe Books account and proceeded to not list anything on it. Barely have time as it is to list my stuff on eBay. Thank you, Grayson. Grayson, can you tell Max to leave me alone? He's been messaging me about wanting to teach me Amazon, but I am busy. So Grayson, I applaud you, and scold Max for me if you want to. Leave me alone, Max.
Four book sales today on Amazon.
I know.
$193 on 4 books.
Every time I hear people talking about Amazon and the getting the buy box and spending months doing this and then getting ungated and having to spend money and time to get ungated, it's like, I don't have my degree in rocket science. I'm just a bookseller. I'm just a veterinarian bookseller.
I have a message for Junkman.
Uh-oh.
He's trying to guess the platform.
He says Facebook Live. Wrong. Oh gosh. Max, you better not answer because someone's gonna get it right, and then are you gonna tell them if they get it right?
Sure. We gotta go. Don't we gotta go?
Okay, let's get some guesses.
45 minutes.
Book Barnmo says, oh good, I have a ton of Babysitter Club books to sell also. Yep, and actually all of the classics, the Boxcar Children, Babysitter Club, Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, all of those books. Oh, Goosebumps and Choose Your Adventure.
Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yep, Choose Your Own Adventure. Those are some of the hottest darn selling things on eBay, but also there's a massive crowd for those on Whatnot. Goosebumps, I think, especially apparently there's like first printing Goosebump paperbacks that are wildly expensive, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's a Halloween one that does very well.
Okay. Junkman says, books we call junk trash. The ephemera groups buy for the illustrations or for the doodle art or recrafting. Yep. There's definitely been people in Paper Gold that have success. Old music books, people like to use those for arts and crafts stuff. Even if they're falling apart, they'll buy them to cut them up a little further. Oh, Book Barnmo says that he has a lot of older A editions of the Little Golden Books, so that's great.
Harris Mag is here.
Who? Oh, Harris Magoon Tunes. Who's that? Oh, is that Harris Mag on Whatnot?
Yeah.
Wow, welcome in, Harris Mag. Welcome.
See, that's because you mentioned it when I had you mention it in the show.
Great. Now Max is going to make me mention it every show I come to.
Ladies and gentlemen, my new Whatnot moderator.
I'm boycotting Max's Whatnot shows for a while. We got 17 people. Wow, great crowd today. Midwest Book Guy. Again, everyone, please go check out Midwest Book Guy on YouTube. He has some great videos. He's new to making videos.
Up and comer.
Yep. He said Amazon Marching Fulfilled is very, very easy. All the FBA sellers fill the streams with a bunch of noise. So he's suggesting I dabble in Amazon MF. Right. But I just worry, okay, if you're going to jump in, you may as well jump in pretty hard because you got to get all of these softwares and repricers and GoToLister and all this stuff. And before you know it, you got like $50 or $100 in apps. How many apps do you have, Max, for your Amazon selling business?
Scout IQ.
Okay.
Keepa. And GoToLister.
Okay.
You heard that, Avery? GoToLister. I'm saying it. GoToLister. That's it.
What's the repricing one?
Oh, reprice it.
Oh, four apps to sell on a platform. Okay.
But again, I've sold just 4 books today for just under $200.
And I could survive without a repricing tool for a while, right?
Why would you be afraid of it? Why would you be afraid of it? That's what I don't get. You're afraid
But
of spending money to make money.
but these four apps are $100. So if I'm $100 in the hole before I start, I need to really put in some effort to dig out of that $100 hole right away. That's what I'm saying. If I'm going to get all these apps, I need to commit to spending a little bit of time to really getting some sales. And but then plus I've heard like, okay, once you get the buy box, which can take a month or 3 years to get.
I don't have the buy box.
Okay,
Sell
great.
good books. Good books sell.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Here we go. Let's
Thank you,
catch up.
Midwest. Thank you, Jesse.
Harris Magoon says Amazon, but nope, I don't think that's your new platform.
Nope.
Grayson says, I guess YouTube as the platform. Interesting. Ooh, actually, I think I know it. I think I know it.
Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it.
Craigslist. Yep, it's Craigslist.
No, it's not Craigslist.
No.
Not Craigslist.
Yeah. Grayson says, do you guys use a virtual lister or whatever? Do you just send them photos and that's it? Oh, he wants to know about VAs.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
our paper golders use the same person.
Yep. We don't use VAs. I do my own listings. It would probably worth it. I think it's like a buck a listing or something like that, maybe slightly less. Um, and basically all you have to do is take photos of the listing. Some people have a little note card where they'll write like, okay, make sure you put these details in the listing, whether it's signed or measurements or pages or something. But otherwise, the VA that people in the Paper Golds group use is very good at using tons and tons of item specifics. And then you can tell them exactly how you want your descriptions to be. You just give them a format for descriptions, whether it's title, author, date, publisher, or like they can use an AI, I suppose, to write out paragraphs for you. Um, but we don't use VAs. Max has a lister that does like a physical lister in beautiful Florida that does the work for him. But Max also does some listing himself as well.
Yes.
I mean, at a bucket listing, it would only cost me $30.
You're going in and out.
How about now? At a bucket listing, it would probably be worth me hiring a lister because I take the photos, I write up the descriptions, and then if I could pay someone $30 to do an hour's worth of work, it may or may not be worth it. I suppose you know what, I was thinking if I do hire a VA to do that work, I could probably ramp it up to 35 listings a day. I'm taking the pictures and doing the descriptions. They're doing the physical uploading and everything. Though I do think with a VA, my understanding is that it may take a few days for them to have the listings live for you. So that is a little bit of a hiccup as well. They make drafts for you with all the photos and titles and everything, and then you kind of have to approve them and submit them and make them live on eBay. It is
a very good service.
Yep, there's some people that use VAs for every single listing they do, and at a buck a piece, I don't think you can go wrong. But if you're doing 100 listings, that's $100. You're gonna have to sell a few books just to pay for the VA to break even. Midwest Book Guy says, I get it, but at the end of the day, no matter how annoying it is a huge platform with a bunch of eyes. Yep, I agree. I guess my rationale is I'm already unbelievably busy with eBay and now 2 days of Whatnot. But Max is begging me to scan the books in my bookstore for Amazon.
Not just that, it's when someone brings in books to your store.
Yep. Yeah, yep. Well, I will say I did implement when I'm going to estate sales and have early access to the estates, I'm buying the books for eBay and Whatnot, and then I am also scanning for Sell Back Your Book and Books Run and stuff like that. So haven't quite jumped into, I don't know. I've only been thinking about Amazon for 2 years, so give me a tiny bit more time. Grayson says, Kent, I could see you making more sense for you because you have so much stuff and space for volume, which means the whole Amazon thing would make more sense. Yep, I agree. I have access to books and book collections at ISBN Books. I'm usually not putting enough time and effort into thinking about them. Book Barn Mo says, if I were you, Kent, I would start on FBM instead of FBA. more control over your inventory, and overall has always been less of a
I
headache for
agree.
us.
I agree with her. That's what I've been telling him. That's what I've been
Then
telling
if I
him.
get more, yep, then if I get more comfortable, I can do FBA. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I downloaded the Amazon seller app and got it up and running and everything and got verified. So I think that step is done. I did that about a year ago, and I scanned tons and tons of books in my bookstore, and like it seemed like most of them were okay. There's 47 copies starting at $7 with free shipping. But part of that could be because at that time I had one Amazon seller that was coming in every couple months and scanning my books and buying stuff. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe I do need to give it another try.
And you have the perfect teacher.
Yeah, perfect teacher. Art Turner says Chat GPT is his lister. 1.7 listings on eBay right now. Yep, Chat GPT and actually eBay. When you upload the photos, they have an AI tool for your descriptions. You can just click it, and it does a mediocre job of saying, "Oh, this book on whatever topic is important because of this, and this is the author, and this is the date, and stuff like that." It's not perfect. Sometimes you got to readjust it a little bit, but I mean, it does good enough. It does a good enough job. Art Turner says that he has 120 items scheduled. Wow, that's great. Yep, it makes sense. Some people, because of the eBay algorithm, eBay likes you to have new listings every day just to kind of feed the machine and keep your store fresh and new. So some people schedule stuff out and start new listings every day, even if they're just buy it now. So they try to get some going every day. Our Turner is hoping to get to 5,000 listings by the end of the year, if not more. Wow.
Do it.
What do we okay, let's do some math. We have what do we got? We got 8 more months. No, less than. We got 7 more months.
Say we have 200 days. Make it easy. 200 days.
Okay, 5,000 items in 200 days. 25 listings a day. Yeah, I mean, I do 30 listings a day. Skip one day a week though. Yeah, that's definitely ambitious, but it's doable. 25 a day.
Do it.
Absolutely. Um, Junkman says Bluetooth scanners. Oh, shoot. Sorry, Junkman. I saw your question earlier, but we forgot to answer. He was wondering if we had any suggestion for printers. Zebra.
I love my Dymo 4XL. I love my
Didn't
Dymo.
didn't you just buy a new one?
Yeah. But I wear them out. I mean, I sell so much. I just wear these out.
Is your new one a Dymo?
4XL.
Okay. There you go. I use a Nelco. And then Zebra, they're all good enough quality. They're all similar, 75 to 150 bucks. I mean, I guess I've had mine for a little over a year now and have pretty minimal issues. The only issue I've had is certain brands of labels seemed there's one brand of label that I bought that was giving me some issues. But otherwise works perfect. I print, average of 15 to 20 labels a day and it seems to work great. They're all similar prices, similar quality. I wouldn't worry too much about picking out that one special brand. Grayson says, I mean, there's something to say for what you enjoy too. I love old books, so I'll never do the whole Amazon thing. Another great reason, Grayson. Thank you. If you don't like it, then there's enough in my book. Yep. I'm not a barcode scanner. I could just as well sell toasters if I'm gonna get into the barcode scanning. There's some people that are only Amazon and they're only interested in the cash they get from the book. I love antique books, and same with Grayson. Grayson loves antique books, and he's going to buy ones that he thinks are interesting and are going to resell. And honestly, first, I'm more of a collector. I've always been a collector just as much as a seller, which isn't great for a business. If
You always say that.
it's true, how can I sell these beautiful, perfect books? I got to keep the best for myself. I still sell some really impressive ones. Actually, I think in about a week and a half on eBay, I'm gonna have an 1870 copy of Alice in Wonderland, a really nice one that I would like to keep, but
I bite my tongue on that one, sir.
I paid 220 bucks for it, so we gotta sell it. We gotta make some money. Hoping it brings three, four, 500. It should. It should. If the market has half a brain, it'll bring good money. Art Turner says, I agree with Grayson. I think the overarching thing is that Kent's potential is through the roof. Well, thank you. Yeah, for sure. I guess the first step is scanning for sell back your book, and just because you don't have to learn anything about that, you just scan, throw it in a box and ship it, and
Yeah,
get.
it's not.
Yeah, but don't you agree that like the Amazon, like the strictly Amazon sellers, it's just a barcode to them. The books like don't mean anything.
And Jesse would agree, who's in here
Yeah.
right now. Jesse would agree.
Yep.
But you can learn from Amazon because of
Jesse,
the
yeah.
velocity of selling. You can see what books sell all the time.
Jesse is a Amazon seller, and he's in the process of going from learning how to read the charts to learning how to find good books by eye or by looking them up on eBay and trying to figure that out. And that's a whole nother set of skills. He, I mean, is better than I will ever be at the whole Amazon thing, but to learn the skill of like finding books based off the title and cover and stuff is also a crazy skill.
Yeah.
Grayson says, I have a couple of collections, but in the back of my mind, I'm willing to sell it at some point. One of them I'm building almost with the intention to sell down the road, but enjoying the ownership. Yep, I'm the exact same way, except for some books I will never ever sell. There's a few that I don't care how much money. Maybe $1 million.
Well, I think it's time we part ways.
Excellent show. Yeah, hour long.
I think we had as many as 19 people in here today, Kent. Thank you to everyone who showed up and all of the new people that have showed up. We love the conversation. If you guys were a fly on the wall, you would see that we talk about this stuff all day long. You guys are getting an hour of it, but we're probably doing 8 hours of it. Books are our life. It's our livelihood. It's our sanctuary. And we hope it becomes yours as well.
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in. And hopefully we'll see you next Monday morning at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern. Thank you. We appreciate you all very much.
Good night.